Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In last week's class, we covered some of the basics. We went over the virtues of learning and teaching the glorious Quran. There are many virtues in learning, teaching, and reciting the glorious Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised to give abundant reward to those who recite the glorious Quran. Recitation of the glorious Quran is the most blessed among all nafil acts of worship, all optional acts of worship. And learning to read at least a portion of the glorious Quran is essential for performing salah, for obligatory upon each Muslim man and woman. So basically, it is fard for every Muslim man and woman to at least know a portion of the glorious Quran. This is called fardul ain, obligatory for every individual. And beyond this, the recitation of the entire Quran is fardul kifaya, an obligation which is fulfilled even by compliance by a few. So even few people do that, the entire Quran, whoever recites it will receive the reward. So it is apparent that there are many virtues in learning the glorious Quran, teaching it to others, and reciting it regularly. Now, the glorious Quran is the heavenly book revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and deserves all possible esteem and respect. For the recitation of the sacred book, which is the Quran, cleanliness of the place, the dress, and the body should be observed. And before touching the Quran for recitation, one should perform ablution, which is wudu. One is permitted, however, to recite the Quran from memory without ablution. So if one does not have wudu and they are reciting from memory, then that is permissible. And all these opinions basically suggest that one should show due reverence to the word of Allah. In the state of impurity for which ghusl or bath is needed for purification, touching or reading of the word of Allah is forbidden for every man and woman. Now, while the Quran is being recited, one should listen to it with full attention so that one may receive guidance and mercy from Allah. So basically, paying attention, showing adab while the recitation of the Quran is going is at most important. Now, we are going through all of this so that, before we jump in the real tajweed stuff, we really need to know why we are doing this. That is why I'm going over these details. So, now going to tajweed. Tajweed is to read the Quran with the right makharij along with adornment. Adornment means beautifying it. When one reads the Quran, you're not supposed to read it in a yelling voice. You have to read it in a very beautiful voice. The literal meaning of the word tajweed is betterment and decoration. In the terminology of phonetics of the Holy Quran, tajweed means recitation of every letter of the Holy Quran from its point of articulation with its attributes. Now, here are the attributes of letters of the Holy Quran, and they are isti'la, elevation. Number 2 is istifal, which is depression, and tarqiq, which is softness, and fourth one is tafkhim, which is heavy sound. So these are the attributes of letters of the Quran when you are reading the Quran with tajweed. These words may sound very scary at the moment, but as we go into tajweed, these are very easy to understand. And the other rules of phonetics are idhar, idgham, qalb, and ikhfa. Izhar is the clear pronunciation, okay, to expressing the word. Idgham is assimilation, when you are moving one word to entering it into the other. Qalb is change or conversion, to change it. And ikhfa is suppressed pronunciation, to hide it, suppress it. We will have more examples as we move further. Now in tajweed, the place where a letter is pronounced is called a makhraj. Makhraj is the point of articulation, and its plural is makharij. As we learned last time, that Arabic letters, there are 29 of them. The agreed upon view of scholars, grammarians, and phoneticians including Khalil Nahwi and Allama Jazri, that there are 17 makharij, 17 points of articulation. Another thing we need to know is when there is a haraka. We learned about harakat in the last class. Harakat, the short vowels are fatha, kasra, dhamma. These are called harakat. So when there is a haraka on alif, alif is just one line. So if there is a haraka, a fatha, a kasra, a dhamma, or sukoon, then then it is called hamza. Whenever there is a haraka on alif, a fatha, kasra, dhamma, or sukoon, it will be called hamza. For example, now this is mim and alif, ma. This is lam and alif. So you're calling this alif. This is alif, and after lam is alif. Okay. Now, when does it become hamza? When there is a haraka. In this case, this is ma'wa. So mim, alif, hamza, sukoon. So on this alif there is a haraka. There is hamza and sukoon. So this will not be called alif. This will be called hamza. Mim, hamza, waw, ya. Ma'wa. And here, same thing, ma'wa. The difference is that here you find under sukoon there's hamza, and over here under sukoon there's nothing. It's above alif is only sukoon. So what you notice in Quran that you find in India, the printed Quran contains sukoon on alif, whereas in the Quran in Egypt, which is printed in Egypt and Turkey and elsewhere, contains hamza with sukoon on top of alif. So that's why when you read Quran, you find these tiny changes. But regardless, this will be pronounced ma'wa, ma'wa. Now, to practice proper pronunciation of a letter at its makhraj, a helpful rule is to prefix the letter with a hamza, voweled with a fatha, and make the letter itself sakin and pronounce it. Now, you will know what I mean. The place where the sound stops with pressure is the makhraj of that letter. For example, on alif, there is a fatha and a sukoon on noon. So, an. And then alif and sukoon on ba, ab. So you will see how the noon is pronounced, the ba is pronounced an, ab, a, agh, aq. So you see the makhraj is coming properly, That's why it says that to practice proper pronunciation of a letter at its makhraj, a helpful rule is to prefix the letter with the hamza voweled with a fatha and make the letter itself sakin. So we made the noon sakin here, the ba sakin here. So an, ab, a, agh, aq, ak. Now here, alif has haraka. Can you see? Alif has haraka. So this is called hamza. And dal, this is alif. So you see the difference? This is hamza and this is alif. This is hamza because it has haraka, it has kasra on it. Now, next word is hada. Because this is alif maqsura, this is shortened alif. So that's why we are saying hada. Okay? Because there's a alif maqsura or shortened alif. Now here, after dal, you see there's alif in regular form. So it's the same elongation that we're doing when we are reading this. Either it be a shortened alif, alif maqsura, or a regular alif. Hada. You see, it's the same length. Hada. The duration of elongation in the pronunciation of both a shortened alif and a regular alif is equal to 2 measures of a haraka or short vowel. And this is also referred to as a standard measure of 1 alif. We'll learn about madda letters today. Huruf al-mad. Now there are 3 madda letters. Alif, waw, and ya. These are the 3 madda letters. For example, noon, has dhamma on it, and wow, sakin. Nu. So we used wow. This is a madda letter. And then he, which has ha has kasra on it, and ya sakin. Ya has sukun on it. So this is he. So you see how it's read he. So we used another madda letter, ya. And finally, we use alif, madda letter, after ha. So it becomes ha, it becomes longer. So here, nu, he, ha. Now, when there is waw sakin and dhamma preceding it, so in this case, waw sakin and dhamma preceding it, then it is called waw madda. Okay, so this is called waw madda. When there is ya sakin, because ya has sukun on it, and there is a kasra preceding it, then it is called ya madda. When there is alif with a fatha preceding it here, then it is called alif madda. So we covered huruf al-mad. There are 3 madda letters. So we learned that for waw madda, there has to be a dhamma preceding it. For ya madda, there has to be a kasra preceding it. And for alif madda, there has to be a fatha preceding it. Now, few things that we need to note down. This is ya, which has a kasra preceding it. However, ya is not sakin. You see, ya has a fatha. So you will not call this ya madda. It has to be ya sakin with a kasra preceding it. So this is not ya madda. In this case, we have waw, with a dhamma preceding it, but waw is not sakin. It has a fatha on it. So this is also not a waw madda. Another thing is, if before ya or waw there is fatha, then it will be called layyina. So once again, before ya or waw there is a fatha, then it will be called layyina letters, or will be softly read. For example, this is daif. So here ya sakin has a fatha preceding it, so it's read softly, daif. And here waw sakin has fatha preceding it, so it will be read so. That's good enough for tajweed today. So that will be it for the tajweed class today.